Hey there, Tiff here. Oh, bad things happen in the games, don't they? You're playing badly, you're playing poorly, you're worried about how you're going to go. You have good days when you play your sport, you have bad days when you play your sport, and you just feel like you're just not going to get anywhere. It's going to be just too hard. Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to show you some strategies on how to deal with this good day versus bad day mentality and how we can get your game back on track so that you're not dreading getting out there and playing and you're not feeling that pressure that you put on yourself within to play better and expect yourself to play better. So don't go anywhere. I'll see you shortly. Hey there, Tiff here. Welcome to Ambition Habits. So lovely to have you here. Welcome back. Do you ever hear that with people? Like, do they talk about that, or do you think about that? Like, some days you play good, some days you play bad, and that's just the way it is. Um, some people feel like they always play bad in their sport and they're never going to get better. You feel like you need to be perfect when you're out there playing as well. Like everything has to be absolutely perfect and you have to execute everything perfectly because that's what you see everybody else do. And you need to be perfect because that's who you are, or you expect that you should be perfect because you work so hard at what you're doing in your sport. Yet you play poorly anyway, don't you? Because you expect yourself to be perfect, but you're not perfect. And then you play poorly and, like this thing that unravels. You think that you're never going to get it back. You're never going to be good enough. You had a good day a couple of days ago and now you're playing poorly again, or you're training badly, or just nothing's working. It's tough. I know. I get it. But the problem really is like we need to get rid of this idea of that we've got to be perfect out of our mind. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you a very quick example is like I've just taken up lawn bowls and I started playing comp in October last year. So I've been playing for a few months now. And I started when I first started, I didn't put any pressure on myself. I thought, oh yeah, I'll just, I'm very new at this. I'll just, learn from what happens in competition, and I've got some things that I can go and work on. Then I started to work on things more and more in practice, and then I started to find that I was expecting that I should be perfect, and I was stopping the enjoyment from the sport. Now, I took up the sport initially because I just wanted to do something a bit different, and I wanted to have a bit of fun, and just not get too serious about something. Well, of course, me being me, I am very serious about it now. So, I've got the big goal to go to the Commonwealth Games and win a gold in lawn bowls. But um, I was expecting that I should be perfect after, going off and practicing specific things. I expected that I should be able to get the bowl near the jack every single time. And I was stopping the enjoyment. And I had that huge expectation that I thought that I should be perfect by now, right? Because I'm the ultimate sports person. I've played so many sports. I've played so many sports at a high level. And of course, I should be able to do that, right? Because I'm me. I'm lived and breathed sport my whole life. Of course, I should be able to do that. So I was really battling with this, and it made me realize that I was expecting myself to be perfect. And I see that a lot with people I coach in golf and people that I talk to and mentor in other sports, is that they talk to me about like thinking that everything needs to be perfect, and it actually doesn't. You just need to make sure that you know what you need to do and focus on the path in front of you in the moment, right? So let's talk about the problem with perfection. So the thing that you do here is that you, with regards to the perfection mentality, is that whatever you do, you're just never going to be good enough. And I'll give you an example of that a little bit later, but that might sound familiar, right? Whatever you do will never be good enough. I know I say to people, oh, great shot. And they'll say, yeah, but you didn't see the one before. I don't care about the one before. I saw that one then, right? So we want to be just focusing on in the moment and doing the best that we can in that moment, right? So don't worry that it's never going to be good enough. We have to let that go. Another thing that you may find is that you never acknowledge that the shot was executed well because of a previous shot that went poorly. So I just said that as an example. Like, I get that a lot from people. Oh yeah, but you didn't see the one before. I don't care about the one before. You did this one well, right? Acknowledge that. Another one that you might consider a problem with perfection is that you fear that you will make mistakes. And because you fear that you'll make mistakes, you'll do it anyway. I remember that when I was learning to play golf. Even when I was playing tennis, I was so worried I was going to stuff up, and I did. I was so worried I was going to stuff up a tee shot. I was so worried I was going to hit the ball in the water. I was so worried I was going to do something wrong. And I did, because I feared that the mistake would happen. I manifested it in my mind, and it came out into physical actualization, didn't it? Like, it actually happened. Another one, problem with perfection, that fear that you're holding actually undermines your confidence. And then because you undermine your confidence, it actually leads to self-doubt, right? So you just don't trust yourself. Like, you just don't think you're going to be good enough, right? You think that you're going to make mistakes. That happens. We do make mistakes, but we don't hold on to them. We have to let go of them. The big thing is letting go. We've got to let go of that perfection. Another one is then you start playing tentatively because you actually fear that you're going to make a mistake. And guess what? What happens? It happens anyway. You make a mistake anyway because, again, you're manifesting that, you're thinking that, and you're bringing it out into reality that you're going to make a mistake. So that happens. And then what happens from that? From that problem with perfection, you get angry, you get frustrated, you have huge anxiety, you have this fear, you get nervous, and you may even cry. And I'll tell you what I've done. I've shed many a tear over the years because I was expecting myself to be perfect. And it just doesn't serve, it never served me, and it won't serve you. So if you're getting to the point where you're crying, there's way too much pressure on yourself, and you're putting too much pressure on yourself with the the element here, in the sense of there's a problem with you feeling like you've got to be perfect. So I could give you plenty of examples, but I'm going to give you one. That a number of years ago, I was running this intensive full day clinic with some ladies who came to have some golf skill lessons, and then also we went out and played out on the course. And so this woman that came and to this clinic said to me, now, and I get this a lot: "You're my last hope. If you don't fix me, I'm going to quit," that kind of thing. But people tend to wait until they're at their worst before they come and see me, and then they expect me to, sprinkle some magic dust over them and my magic wand over them and get them fixed within 5 minutes, that kind of thing. But this woman was like beside herself, and her husband was quite a good golfer. He played off a low handicap, and she was so worked up and felt under so much pressure that she should be just so much better than what she is, because she needs to play better because he's so much better, and she expected that she needed to be perfect, that she was just so upset. She actually cried all day through the clinic. I really felt for her. She just couldn't reframe her mindset into, no matter what we were working on, like, everyone was, even the other ladies in the clinic were so supportive of her. And, we did everything that we possibly could, but she kept going back to this feeling that she needed to be perfect and she wasn't good enough and she was going to let her husband down. And there was all this pressure, and I don't know whether, that was the pressure from herself or the pressure from her husband, but there was so much pressure there. And so what happened that day was she actually did get better. So she, I showed her some techniques and so on to work on in improving her game, and she started to hit the ball so much better. But the problem was then because because she was hitting the ball so much better, and then the ball was getting onto the green, it wasn't getting close enough to the hole. So then again, that wasn't good enough. Or the ball would land on the green and just roll a little bit to the end of the green, or to the left or right or something like that, or fall a little bit short, at the front of the green or something like that. But she was getting more consistent. So she started hitting the green a lot more often as she was hitting her approach shot into the green. But again, it still wasn't good enough because she was so in that state that she was never going to be good enough, and it wasn't perfect enough, that she started to cry again. I really felt for her, and I said to her, look, like, if you just focus on this, everything else will come about. And she just couldn't get past that, and that was actually a really tough day for her. And I hope that she continued golf after that. I did the best that I could with her, to help her improve. But you could see that she was so caught up in that state of perfectionism that she couldn't let it go, right? Because she had this huge expectation that she needed to be perfect. And, she was getting better, but she couldn't see it because she was so still caught up in that idea of what she needed to be. And um, nothing was ever good enough, no matter what she did. I don't want you to be like that. Okay. So, what we want to do is we need to shift your attention. Okay. Now, how we're going to do that is we need to start working on embracing the process over perfection. And like I said, I don't want you to feel like this woman who felt like that she was never going to be good enough. And she, cried right through it, even though, like, we could all see the improvement that she was going through. But because she was in such a state of this perfectionism, it was never going to be good enough. Now, I've taught other people who are perfectionists, and we've, worked on strategies, and we've worked on things in a process. I've got a lovely lady that I teach quite a bit, and she knows how important it is to focus on the process. She is a perfectionist. She does want to get everything right. So there's specific things that she needs to make sure that she's focusing on, and she understands that she needs to do that. So she's actually letting go. And we need to make sure that we let go of this feeling that you need to be perfect, because none of us are perfect. We're not going to execute everything absolutely perfect every single time, but we could get close to that and be more consistent for sure. Right? So, what we're going to do here is we need to start focusing on the process, right? So, really simple thing that we could do is we could shift your attention and focus on something that's really simple, like immediate, right? So, let's talk about a golf swing. Like, if you're playing down the fairway, I always tell people to actually focus on the grass just behind the ball, not the ball itself, because if you actually focus on the grass, you actually tend to hit the ball so much better, because the club then comes through the grass. So that's something that you could do, right? So you're shifting your attention of worrying about all these things about you need to be perfect, that you can just go, okay, this is my focus. I've got to focus on this particular process. So I'm going to watch the grass. If you're a tennis player, you could be focusing on, okay, I've really got to watch the ball. Like, I've got to see my racket come through the ball every time I hit the ball, right? Again, that gets you to start focusing on the process. Lawn bowls, give you another example of that, is I've got to focus on making sure that when I release the bowl out of my hand has to be in a particular way, and my arm has to be in a particular way. And then I do a breathing technique that I do with that. So again, it's focusing on the process rather than worrying about the outcome, or rather than worrying about the feeling that everything needs to be perfect, right? We need to let go of that because we need to focus on the execution of it. So we need something that we can work on that's actually going to give us the focus of the process rather than worrying about what's going to happen and whether everything's going to be perfect or not. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is that we need to let go of the perfectionism, okay? The feeling that you need to be perfect at everything, And we need to change that. And we need to change and reframe your mindset around that and embrace the process, right? We have to embrace the process over perfection. So, what I want you to do is start focusing on something really simple, right? Very small, simple task that you can do quite quickly, whether it's a breathe, whether you're breathing, whether you're focusing on a follow through, whether you're focusing on watching the ball, whether you're focusing on how your hand is in a particular position, whatever it is going to be, because it is going to help you reframe and reset and change your focus onto something that you can take control of right now rather than the worrying of the outcome and expecting everything to be perfect. Whew, we want to let go of that perfectionism, don't we? So I hope that you can understand that. So if you're going through that process where you're feeling like you need to be perfect, I get it because I've always felt that too. Um, Focus on the process, right? Find a process that you can focus on and work on getting that right. Work on getting your skill right. Work on breathing. Work on focusing on the ball. Work on whatever you need to feel like it's going to help you, that's going to draw your attention away thinking that you need to be perfect. Okay. We need to let go of that and focus on the path that's right in front of us. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard today. And before you go, if you want to play more consistently and build confidence in your sport and you want to play smart in your sport, then come and get the 3 steps to building your self-confidence with the Has Confidence formula so that you can harness your strengths and build resilience. You can activate positive self-talk and mindset techniques, and you can sustain confidence through improving your mental and physical skills. So come and visit my website, tiffany-micah.com. Love to see you there. And coming soon is the masterclass on the Has Confidence formula. So I look forward to sharing that with you really soon. And for now, I want you to dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. Take care. Talk soon. Bye for now. See you later.